Hi. Hello. Is this thing on? Hello. I hope that's working. Oh. Oh, and the game's frozen. Of course, something always goes wrong immediately. We're making a new world. Oh my god, because I can't. Sorry. Because I can't consistently do anything. Oh, what are we calling it? I always come. Ah. Naming it after the William Afton line. I'm muting my phone. Last time it wouldn't stop going off. It's been a while. Like, what have I done since I streamed last? Graduated high school. Failed my driver's license. Started voice acting and giggles. No, I'm not sharing the voice acting. Because I suck. Mainly. I don't have any content out for Pride Month right now because my editing software is continuously breaking over and over and corrupting my files. Everything I've recorded for the Superflat series is on hold because of that. Got a dog. A third one. Because I'm only allowed 3. She's a husky. Her name is Athena. I love her. I'm finally commissioning an artist who is lovely and so sweet to make a better profile picture for me. I'm very excited about that, actually. I got the draft the other day, and oh my, it's beautiful. I will share their socials with you so you can view all of their content as well, because they're amazing. But you get that when I am. Did it freeze again? Oh, I heard it load. There we go. Ooh! Forgot I have shaders on. Sorry, I have to take my one bracelet off because it's already annoying me. Throw that over there. There we go. Sorry. My microphone's... I still don't have an actual microphone, so it's still just on my, Still just on my headphone stand. What? Also, I made a skin for Pride and didn't get to use it, so here's what it looks like. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed that. What's this? Ooh, it's a seashell. Oh, it's been too long. I'm forgetting. Seashells. I can make a hold on. Sand castle. Sand. What? I don't. Yeah. I still don't have a second one. Where is it? Okay, we're making a sandcastle. First thing we have to make a sandcastle. Okay, we need a stick. Do these make... Is this wood? I don't know. Coconut log. It should make stick. I did forget how it would look. We need a crafting table. We need a craft. We have to make it. Oh, we have to. Please. Please. Oh, I love it. Can I not make it? I can't make a crafting table with it? Bullshit. Oh. I didn't know if I could make it or not. Why is there... Hold on. I'm looking in the minimap. There's a pillager. Why are there pillagers already? Do we spawn next to, like, an outpost? I'll try and make this from memory. I'm gonna fail miserably. Sand. I love it. Oh, I love it. It's coming with me. Back. What? Oh. Hold on. We're gonna have to come back to that. No, it's tree. Tree. And up. Need logs. Logs. Sorry, I have a different playlist on today. I don't know if it's copyright free, but I am enjoying it so much. I'm gonna make sure you can hear me really. Yeah, you should be able to. It is. I'm vibing. I hope you don't mind the fuck? It didn't change the playlist. I was gonna stream at like 12, then every single thing in Minecraft decided to just break. It's just a... Let me a sword and try and fight it. Make a sword with this. Is it gonna be... No. I'm gonna die immediately. You got this. Oh, it's in me. What the fuck is that? Wait, hold on. I wanna see that. We'll fight you later. What's that? I think he's coming after me. Bye. What is that? Oh yeah, if you don't know this mod pack, this is a better Minecraft. I don't remember who made it, but it's a lot better. Lighthouse. Lighthouse? Look, my face is in chat! Ooh, I'm terrified. It's up here. It's gonna go. Dibs. Up here. Huh. Oh, there's more! There's more. All down the stairs, Jesus. I'm gonna have to turn my sensitivity. Die. Die. Not like that. I'm a fool. Nom, 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 blah, 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 blah. Fix that really quick. Sorry. At least fix the stairs so I don't die coming up here. I didn't get any. I need to get a new mouse soon because my mouse has stopped spawning. You want to come say hi? Instead of just flipping me off. My sister's here. Tomatoes! Food. I don't believe there's any. I could just look at the mini map like normal. I'm going to because that's too easy. I keep forgetting there's a mini map. Oh! Heads down. Got excited. What? I want this. No, I don't. Ow! You just pulled my hair. It's my sister. Lovely sister who loves to fucking annoy me on my stream. What are these? Down we go. Down, down, down. Let's see if we can. There's a skeleton. Where'd the pillager go? I wanna fight the pillager.
Here we go.
We should probably like take tools and stuff. Before I go like fighting things. Oh, there's more of that. Ooh. Oh, there's a camp, that's why. On right next to the camp. I just want to like screech. Like full on scream. If I do, I will have to get yelled at by the multiple people who live in this house with me. Oh yeah, I finished high school and I'm legitimately starting to lose my mind. I'm just gonna go like this. Sticks. And and I can grow grapevines. I need to start researching odds before I just like. I want an axe. We're gonna eat them with an axe. I made like boots or something. We'll hit the map. I already forgot where the camp was. No, it's. Ah. Well, there's the camp. Probably should have set my spawn. I'm gonna set my spawn. And eat! So I don't die. Can't get my water open. You know what? It doesn't need a lid on it. Okay, we're gonna set up a little base. The torment piece. Hopefully not lose anything too important. This is not where I plan to set up base. I just want to be a wiener. By that, I'm gonna harass some bold men. I just zoned out and completely forgot I have to keep talking. Come on, Johnny. Whatever the name was from what's it called? The Shining. Shining. Why are there so many cats? Good. I love that. This little Vexy boy. He's one of the Vex. I don't really know villagers. I played like 1.14, jumped to 1.16.5, stopped playing for a while, started playing 1.19. And now I'm all confuzzled because I hate updating my games. Oh, don't kill me yet! Ah. Killed him. Duck! I wanna sell their stuff. Free food. My stuff was... I forget which... We're gonna go this way. I forget where I put my stuff. Found it! Since we know where this thing is. Quite large. I'm gonna throw a bunch of shit in the chest. If we ever want it, we can come back for it. So I kind of want this and this all. Dad, here. There we go. What way should we go? Can I mini map? Oh, I can go here. Go. Gateway point. Big lighthouse. Twice. Finger. Big lighthouse thing. I almost exited out of the game. Whoops. Good thing I misclicked. I didn't click. It's this way. I just went. Let's go this way. Love them. That's not a very good, trying to eat. I don't know, that was, oh. That's make bread. I'm very confused, and I'm gonna ignore that. Oh, it's fine. I'm gonna go this way until I think there's a nice spot we can wizzy down. Oh, water buffalo. We in Canada? Damn. I think we're in Canada. That's where Buffalo are, right? We're talking about Buffalo, New York. You can tell I've never been to either of those places. Fuck is that thing over there in the the top left corner? That weird face. Oh, there's creepers. Wrong button. Okay. There's so many new things I'm getting confused. I optimized the game before I put my shaders on and I still cannot survive with this lag. Okay, hold on. Bobbing is off. There we go. What temperature is this? Oh, Timber's in here. Timber mod. I didn't know that. Well, I like this kind of... I like that. I like the sound. We make everything so much easier. Okay, again. Oh, I like that. Very good. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that's a... I don't know if I have my audio high enough. Should be able to hear that. I just really like that sound. I'm gonna break my axe. Let's expand this forest. I know we haven't even found a nice place to live yet, but... Damn. I'm just gonna keep expanding this place. And we'll go down there. Like a stack of these. Better expand this forest well. Excuse the lag. Wee woo. Oh, it's an apple. I don't know if we're watching the sunrise or sunset, but that's nice. What zombies? Okay, I think there's a cave immediately below us. Is. Okay, that's a pretty wood. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna change the music. Sorry. Absolutely love what's going on, but I keep getting distracted. I don't know if this is copyrighted or not. I don't speak Spanish, and that's the only thing in that comment section. Hopefully I can post the VOD. I'll be 100% honest with you. I do watch my own VODs sometimes. I fucking got one. Hold on. Look to the minimap for a second. Someone tell me what that is. I don't know. Hold on. I didn't ever go back to chat. One monitor is not the most ideal thing, but we do what we have with what we would. That was very poor wording. We're gonna stay down here. I will place a bet. Up we go. Okay, I'm not the smartest, but I also haven't played Minecraft in, like, basically, since my Minecraft broke, like, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And because I've been working, doing exams and finals. That's a lie, I didn't do any, but yeah, I didn't have exams or finals this year. It was crazy. I had this really weird experience with Taxi Driver, which I'm going to tell you about if you care or not. So more or less, I did cooperative education, which basically I work and get credits for it. It's pretty chill. Anyways, I can't drive. I said that at the start, I failed my G2 because she fucking hated me and anything to do. That's a different story I will tell you after. But more or less, this taxi driver was like, hey, you remind me of this, like, we're talking about the co-op students, because as a taxi driver, there's a lot of them, because not all kids are, old enough to drive, or can get their license. And we're just talking, he's like, you remind me of, there's we're talking about this, co-op student who works at the mortuary. Not mortuary, mortician. Her co-op is to shadow a mortician. And you're like, oh shit, that's cool. And he just turns to me. And he goes, you know what? You remind me of this one kid who died in my arms back in '93 in Chicago. I shit you not. The fuck? I just stopped talking. I just kept going, yep, for the rest of the ride, because I didn't know what do you say to that? Better part is, the way he described him looks nothing like I do. Like, the absolute furthest thing possible from how I look. The only reason I reminded him of this kid It's because he's like, yeah, you're hardworking. You like your job? First of all, I don't like my actual job. I loved my co-op, not my actual job. But still, I don't know what to say to that. Like, what the fuck, Derek? Yeah, just fucking dropped his name. I'm sorry. I constantly have been thinking about it since that taxi ride. Like, damn. Remind some guy of a dead kid. I'm uncomfortable now. Anyways, off the grim note, he also told me every single little detail of, that day back in 93, and like, you ever been to Chicago? I'm like, yeah, I haven't been to Chicago. Like, you should go there. Wonderful city. Like, not with my luck, apparently. I'm not going now. Probably will never go to Chicago. Y'all are gonna think I'm American now. I'm not American. I don't live in the USA. What the fuck? Oh, anyways, what was the other thing I was gonna tell you? Oh yeah, I failed my G2, which basically means I can't drive. So I'm still stuck in my shitty day job. I get harassed all the time. But you know what? That's fine. It's fine. No, it is. But it's whatever. I'm fixing my headset. I'm gonna run upstairs really quick. I have to go and tell someone something. I will be back in a second. Hold on. I don't know. Let's throw that in chat. Hold on. Go! Where is it? Okay. Just 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Figuring out dinner. My music's on? Yeah. Figuring out dinner. But yeah. I'm gonna make a small with my G2. I already forgot what I was talking about. I've had so many weird encounters with taxi drivers like that. Ooh, a portal! What the fuck just happened to my voice? Yeah. I can make like a small series on YouTube of just fucking weird encounters with taxi drivers. So. If you guys want to see something like that, like, I'll do something like that. Ooh, well. What happens if I throw in, like, a gold? Absolutely nothing. Sorry, I'm not familiar with some of these mods, and I honestly was hoping something would happen. Papers. Okay. What's that? If I pick to put my house next to a giant death trap, I'm going to be mildly upset. And if it is a mild death trap, I'm not moving my house, but... if it's just a stone pillar, I'm gonna get rid of it. Stone for some good. It is just a stone pillar. We're gonna destroy this thing. This is gonna be a foundation for our house. We're gonna get to the top of this and it's gonna be like Excalibur or something. No. Very odd. I forgot where. I have to put that waypoint back so we don't get lost. Okay. That's not gonna be enough. Oh man. Say this doesn't work. No. I tried. I thought it would work and it didn't. I need the pickaxe anyways, but I was trying to make a sword. Don't ask what I'm gonna do with those. Shit, I don't have enough iron now. Hold on, I have an idea. Way better than just destroying it. Let's just... caution. Potion. Oh, that's... You know, I'm fine with it being there now. Need the other caution side back, though. Fortunately, I don't have a pickaxe. We're gonna do... ribbing. This. Why are there more pillagers? Sorry, I just saw it in the corner of my eye in the mini map. I don't want more pillagers. I don't need another pickaxe. I have one. Ending. Good. Nice. I don't drop. I see why now. Cold. Where'd the chicken go? This is how bending works, right? Yes. Nice. Anyways. I'll clear the area a little bit. I have to do this the old-fashioned way. I make some torches. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting I need to speak. Oh. Hold on. How long has it been since I've said words? Probably too long. Whoops. That's probably not the best. Just go light up the area. I swear to God. I'll be like, oh! So talking about the start of the stream and then just randomly stop talking. We're gonna make a shitty little hut. Doesn't need to be too good for now. This isn't even gonna be our starter base, this is just gonna be some hut. It's just gonna have to hold our bed and stuff. I just want it to be the floor. And, well, there we go. After stream, I'm gonna have to go back and fix my controls again. It's fine. Yes, yeah, this isn't gonna be the best house, but we're just gonna move some stuff really quick. Going. Moving. Stuff in the house. I'm gonna aerate this because probably not the most efficient setup for that, but whatever. It's not gonna be the most colorful. Still trying to decide what kind of roof I want. Might make a honestly, I forget what the red logs are called, but yeah, the maple logs might make a maple. Yeah, I'm gonna make colors complement each other very well. Why not? Grab some. We're gonna make a nice roof, but it's not gonna have to be too thinking about that. Also do that, and then oh, that looks dumb, but that's fine. I just want to decorate the inside of the house real quick. Oh, that's an actual bucket. Oh, I was like, oh, that'd be cute for the house. No, it's just a bucket. Stretching real quick. It's not gonna be too. It's not gonna be too fancy, but we gotta do it right. I'm just gonna do how I normally do it, and then do one side and then the other. Gonna need some. That might not be enough, but let's see. That's not gonna be enough. That'll be enough. That better be enough. If that's not enough, I'll be. Damn. I was supposed to do that the other way. Oh, we got this. Both a little funny, but whatever. Wondering what that is for. That's just because maybe one of my favorite kinds. Side. I hope I didn't do him on accident. I just thing. Oh yeah, my mouse just went absolutely ballistic for a second. Using a lot more razors. But I hope. I have to put windows in it. That is okay. The windows really. Break my back. I'm hoping you won't be able to hear that. It's a beastie. Apologies for if you can hear the doggo uggles. I am one of those people who have like 1900 craft tables everywhere. It's not too. Let's see, but. It's not better. It looks relatively okay. Not too good. Like you live in a barn, but whatever. An idea for. I'm just building and zoning out. I'm sorry. You keep talking, but I keep forgetting words. Sticks. That's annoying. Water. Pretty okay. There's still some flowers. See if I can make it better. Flowers. Flowers. I'm gonna need glass for the window. Stick with me. I'm almost out of food. Stick with me. It's not horrible. I mean, it is, but I'm gonna pretend it's not absolutely horrendous. Anything I can burn? Fix. There. Anything? I've put water in this, or doesn't have to look particularly good. I'm just throwing ideas around. That looks pretty shit, but my house. Pretty good. One. Now we're in some we've built. Probably one of the shittiest houses I did see. But I just made 6 doors. Whatever. Here have some doors. Is there any like better lighting thing? I mean, full screen the game, it's gonna look weird on your side for. I have to go through everything again later. Damn. For now, though, it'll be a waste of iron. I'll be too happy. It is like the best lighting ever. It looks a lot cooler. Yeah, at some point we do need to. It's gonna be important, but not like, you know, got it down all the way, but just because I'm getting double of both of my things. It's lag between the both and it's throwing me off. Throwing me off. Make bread. Need bread. Was that something for this book? Oh! I'm dumb. Maybe scroll down R over and recipe. U is uses. Scroll H to open emote. I B. I'll fitter get all of these so fast. So fast. Oh my. Words. FBI icon. Interesting. Nice. the bottom of the inventory. No, you may search bar roughly enough items or are you? Okay, I'm just gonna go through these because I'm pretty sure I know what majority of these things are. Leave the tutorial. Nice. And books of the biome. Nice. Oh, I have to. Sorry. Why is it throwing them? It looked like it was just eating them. Wait. Trinket slot. What? Okay. Exit. West. Trinket slot. I mean trinket slot. Hold on. Necklace slot. Okay, I'm not going crazy. E. This is West. Little friendsman. Guessing that organizes. That's not what that. Oh, there we go. That. Nice. What's this book? Props. Yes. Here. Oh. Holy shit. Where are... Hurry. I'm already lost. What? Hold on. I'm pretty sure this is not... These are adventures. Off. What? Go back. Box items. Go. Okay. I'll get it. Huh, okay. What's it doing? It's making bread. There we go. Yeah. Anyways. I think that's gonna be the end of today's stream. That's gonna be the end of today's stream. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I did. I always do. I'm probably gonna come back to this mod eventually. There's a lot to do. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really do much. Yeah. I just wanted to build the house because it looked cool. So. And that's gonna be the end of today's stream. I don't believe I will raid anyone today. But the VOD will be posted up on YouTube in about, I'm gonna say maybe a day or two. That's usually how long it takes me to do something like that. I'm gonna try and walk. Yeah, that's the end. Oh. I don't know what that was, but I gotta pull Discord up again. Not Discord. The end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed.